Y'all highway.
All right, Bryan, y'all want to jump in?
Yeah, right. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Chris. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm coming to you from Brian's phone. We are actually headed back from our family compound in the Catskills, upstate New York. So we were on the road. I have to get Brian to the airport. Sorry for the not being in front of my desk, but we are in transit. Wanted to just do our touch in from here. I'm hoping everyone can hear me.
Yeah,
Can you hear me,
we can hear you.
Alexis? Okay,
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Yeah, I don't have the camera on just to help with the bandwidth. But we're in a government shutdown. I think everybody basically knows that. That hasn't stopped ATF IOIs from doing their job. So while the uptick in revocation hearings has clearly passed us by, with Biden going bye-bye, the inspections have not stopped, nor have administrative actions. So, like we've said in recent past, I want everyone to be on their toes. It's not over, and it's not time to fall asleep at the switch. Um, Other than that, on an ATF front, it's been quiet. It's been very quiet. There's been a few rulings that I'll let Alexis or Mike talk about, but otherwise, we're motoring right along. Alexis, I don't know if you want to just pick up, or we'll let Bryan jump in now, who's sitting next to me, just to make sure that we get our 2 cents in case we have a problem. So,
Yeah, sounds great.
Good morning.
Bryan,
Good
you want to
morning,
jump in?
everyone. Yep, I got you. We just a couple things I wanted to touch on. It really is all related to SHOT as we're all gearing up to go in a couple months. I just want everybody to know that we do have a bunch of friends and family speaking at SHOT University this year. So we'd like you all to participate, um, go to their presentations on Wednesday out at SHOT. Chris Renzulli from the Renzulli Law Firm is going to be speaking. He's always a good one to catch as he talks about everything legal going on in the world these days. And then on Thursday, we have a couple of our clients. We have Jessica Keffer from the Sportsman Shop. She's going to be speaking on Thursday morning. The Keffer family, if you're in the firearms industry, you probably know their name. They are OGs with FFLGuard and have been around pretty much since inception. So please go support Jessica. Also, Hank, our buddy Hank Yasik, whose pretty face you all know from our webinars. He'll be speaking on Thursday as well, along with Jameson from Fastbound. Jameson will be on a panel on Thursday as well. So we ask you please to go support our friends, families, clients, everything, because they're all good people. And by you going and giving them a good rating, it can pretty much guarantee them getting more speaking appearances in the future. And a broad invitation to everyone Wednesday night at SHOT. I believe NSSF is hosting some, golf event. You got to pay money for it. You got to pay more if you want to have a couple drinks. But FFLGuard, not us. We're going to be hosting our own little party. We do it every year. It's at Evil Pie on Fremont Street. It is free food and open bar. And all of our clients are invited to come join us Wednesday night of SHOT at 7 p.m. at Evil Pie on Fremont. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody for using the help desk. The tickets have been flowing nice and smooth. We can see you guys are really putting in the effort to use it more, and we appreciate that. It makes things a lot easier, especially when we're on the road and all over the country. That's all I got, Alexis.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Well, I think, gentlemen, you've covered all the things except for responsible persons, right? So when you fall back, don't forget it's time to check the responsible persons on your license. If you need help, that's definitely something, put in a ticket, let us know. We can help walk you through that. But it is that time of year. If you don't know who your responsible persons are, you're not sure, like I said, definitely just put in a ticket for us and we can help you through that process. But now's the time to review and make all the updates that you need, okay? But with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Bouchard.
Morning, everybody. The only thing I have is I touch base with ATF about the shutdown. They're still working. They're deemed essential. Typically, when you go through these government shutdowns, they slow things down a little bit. No major expenditures, but the regular day-to-day type of activity keeps going on. So hopefully this will get resolved soon and everybody can get back to their normal working day and they can get paid. So that's really all I have pending any questions.
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Keep us posted with anything new. Do you know if any rulings or anything will be posted to the Federal Register during the shutdown? Have they mentioned that?
They didn't. I don't know if Mike, you can answer that, but I'm not sure about that.
All right, I appreciate it.
Now they'll continue to work, so that could be because most of those people are essential who are working on those rulings. So
Yeah.
they'll continue working on getting that going forward.
Awesome. Well, thanks. The floor is yours, Mr. Fronczak.
Okay, wanted to bring up a few things. If everyone has not had the opportunity to look at the e-blast from Friday, these items are on there also. So if you don't have to take notes because all that information is on the email that your business has received from FFLGuard. Regarding the government and the shutdown, imports branch is only processing any imports for law enforcement or basically the military. And if it's a deemed importance for national security. So that's one thing for the imports branch. A lot of these branches, a lot of those employees are not essential employees. And that's why a lot of their functions are coming to a halt. So the same thing for the NFA branch, only processing the forms for law enforcement or the government, nothing for individuals. So a lot of you who do a lot of silencer sales, that's coming to a screeching halt right now, unfortunately. So, and everybody who is waiting for those approvals, unfortunately, who has those in already, those aren't going to be coming your way either until the government gets back up and running. Excuse me, Fat D, which underneath Fat D is the Firearms Technology Industry Services branch. They're the ones who do a lot of the classifications of firearms, especially for importers and manufacturers. Those will not be completed right now, only for law enforcement again and military. So you can see what the focus is on for those branches. It's mainly the law enforcement and military going forward right now. Firearms Licensing Center, which is the most important one for everyone right now. I did confirm with the chief of the licensing center, Tracy Robertson, that all renewals have gone out for November and December. So that is good. So if you get those, please remember to continue to send those in as soon as you get it. Okay, that's important. Send them in. Do not wait on those. Get them done as soon as you can. Now, unfortunately, again, they won't be processing any renewals. They're not processing any amended applications. They're not processing any new applications. So all those, again, come to a halt. Also with the licensing center, all those employees have been furloughed already. So there's no one working there pretty much, except for the chief. And they're not even able to give you the letter of continuance at this time. So you do, by regulation and law, if your license expires, say November 1st or December 1st, and we are still in that shutdown period under law and regulation 478-94, you have 45 days to continue operating. So remember that 45 days to continue operating upon expiration of a license. If ATF has not reacted to your renewal, you still have that. Hopefully it won't go that long, but I don't know. This one seems might be a long one to me. In the meantime, what I suggest, and FFLGuard suggests, I think it was in the e-blast too, is start contacting your U.S. congressmen and senators. Let them know, hey, this is what's going on regarding your licensing. That ATF's not processing these because all their employees in that licensing center have been furloughed. So you want to get that out as soon as possible and be in touch with your distributors so they understand the predicament you're in regarding your license if it's expiring in November and December, so they understand that you can continue operating, but you just don't have that up-to-date license yet. That'll happen upon their return from the shutdown. So that's the main things I have today. That's it for me, Alexis.
Awesome, thanks. Appreciate it. I know everybody's keeping an eye on that. If you have a license that is approaching 45 days, if you're concerned about those things, again, reach out to FFLGuard, the sooner the better, just so that if we can track that as well for you. But I'll drop a link here in the chat. If you're not sure how to contact your congressmen or women, you can look it up online. Again, if you're getting down to the wire, it's going to be important because that we do everything possible, because it's codified that you've only got those 45 days. So there's not much grace that can be given anywhere because it's written in black and white. So let's see, Avis, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. And please be patient with your distributors and so forth. They may have to do a little tweaking to their system to add those 45 days after that FFL expires. So I'm sure they're working on it, but give them a little grace. They may have a few problems, but other than that, I'm just here.
Well, we're glad you are. Couple things just to mention as well. If you haven't told us what you're doing, if you're coming to SHOT Show or not, please let us know. We genuinely want to see everyone. And we're not just, trying to get you to come to the booth to sell you anything. We want you to come by and say hi. We want to have the time to talk with you. So please let us know if you're going to be there. We don't expect you to spend an hour with us, but we sure would like to say hello. We're in the booth with Fastbound, so obviously great time to have those conversations as well, especially with the new changes. We all know the 4473 is changing. Those guys are right on the bleeding edge with that, so they'll be there to talk about that as well. And I have a feeling lots of people have questions. As far as other things going on, BIS, Bureau of Industry and Security, it rescinded the interim final rule on exports. So what does that mean? That means that even if you don't remember what the rules were a few years ago, we're in the process of rolling all of that back to that. Good news, bad news for industry. Good news is you are able to export shortly to the previous standard. The bad news is hardly any of us really remember that well, and certainly with the government, that time period has resulted in a lot of employee turn as well. So there's going to be a lot of questions, and with the whole shutdown anyway, everything's grinding to a halt. So again, exports, they are in the process of unwinding all of that interim final rule. However, with the government shutdown, that too is parked. And again, because it's been a few years, some of those issuances and letters and such that you may have gotten based on the interim final rule, we need to help you revisit. Other than that, upcoming webinars, we are going to do one about incident management when the firearm you sold or manufactured ends up in the headlines. So we're definitely looking forward to doing that one here in the future. Please keep an eye out for registration for that in the coming weeks. And I think it's time for some questions, unless we've got other things. FFLGuard team, anything else you want to throw in?
Next webinar. And
What?
the next webinar we were going to shoot for, I believe, November 10th, Alexis. So we can get some of those state elections out of the way and see what happens in the world of the government.
Avis, it was the 10th, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got a question. Let's see. I have a Browning A5 receiver at Fat D for a year now for them to hopefully determine it is NOS and has never been assembled as a shotgun. I get that this shutdown slows things, but apart from the shutdown, I understand that staff has been doged to some extent. I've emailed twice and snail mailed once, no reply. Now I'm even worried that the return label I sent may have expired as it's in limbo or lost in the mail. Might there be a fast-tracked way to not get it determined, but just get confirmation that it's still there in the queue? Mike?
Unfortunately, no. That's the problem. Just like any kind of application we have in there right now, it's just a big black hole. So I don't think your return label, well, it might be if it's expired, yeah. But upon them coming back, it'll probably be good to get in contact with them about that expired label to get that firearm back. But again, just remember, if it's been in there for a while, it's just they have to get back in there. It's gonna take a while for them to get back up and running again. So, right, it's just a bad situation. I'm sorry, I apologize for the situation you're in, but unfortunately, nothing that you can do about it right now.
Do we know if the STA export exemption will still be in place? I was gonna say the extent of the statement is just, and what was posted in the Federal Register is that they're rolling it back. As far as what sticks and what doesn't, we don't have those details yet. That's where we're saying things are a bit in limbo. But the STA export exemption, I believe, was mainly required because of the new interim rule. That what predicated the requirement that exemption was needed. But again, once there's more information, we'll know, but we'll share what we have. But for now, just it's being rolled back and unwound. What we end up with yet, not 100% there. I saw that Form 20s were being changed. Twos?
That's probably a typo.
Oh, okay. Instead of approval based, has that happened, or is there a timeline on when it will shift? There was also a notice that Clio notification for Form 1s and Form 4s will be removed. So anything to do with the NFA forms, there have been a few posted in the Federal Register, which you've seen are if you're getting the e-blast, you'll see that there's a bit of a comparison there. They are posted. They were posted for 60-day review. Tomorrow is the last day to comment on a couple of those. Again, last day, October the 7th for the 60-day period. Mike, you want to talk to him how it flows after that?
Well, that's the interesting dilemma now too, is because you may have some because they have to respond to every comment that has been sent in regarding the forms. So unless it's a vulgar comment, they don't respond to those. So there's a lot of those actually. However, with the shutdown, some of those employees are probably not essential. So that's going to hinder that timeline for that ruling on those forms. So I think you're correct. Whoever wrote that is that the Clio notifications are being removed. Yes. So
yeah,
that is the thing. I think they realize that now that's Clios aren't doing anything with applications or any of that stuff anymore. So
I would say the biggest indicator of a potential timeline on that would be that all of the new forms reflect the removal of the tax stamp requirement. So
Okay.
that doesn't go into effect until January 1 anyway. But after the 60-day period, they have to respond to all the comments, and then there's a 30-day notice period as well. So again, it's really going to depend on the shutdown and how that moves.
And the number of comments too. Hopefully there's not a ton. So
But I do think, if you have genuine comments that are relevant and that you believe will help the workflow, please let them know. Folks at ATF aren't standing behind the counter, and so to share that information with them is critical. Let's see. How do you guys feel about forced reset triggers in rental guns for customers? I'll let Chris and Bryan get to that in a second, but I was going to say your insurance company probably has some pretty strong feelings about it that may determine the business viability of that whole.
Something like that.
Bryan, Chris, you guys want to weigh in?
I think that's more of a Mike Fronczak question.
We're not the business interruption team. So whatever is legal, and that's the way it is. These are business decisions, not legal decisions. And I mean, unless something has changed, I don't know why it would be an issue, but that's, again, I don't know if there's a legal position other than it is what it is now. Hey, Mike, what do you think?
no, I agree with 100%. I think it's, that's nothing says you can't do that. But I also agree with Alexis in that you need to check with your insurance just in case something happens there, that you're covered, especially for ranges. I think that's a good possibility to just like you do a lot of the fallback with your responsible people. Look at your insurance right now too, especially if you're doing something like the force reset triggers.
Yeah,
so yeah.
If you have a range where you are doing machine guns, let's say, like some of our Vegas friends,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like, what the hell's
Some
an
of them
FRT then? I don't
Right,
know.
that's covered. That's going to be covered already.
It may be, but insurance can do carve outs as well. So you want to be sure, take a look at the verbiage, also, your releases and things to be sure. It can be very relevant, especially to the state you're in, if they're given a different legal definition. Like there's some states define all sorts of apparatus and give them different names that may not necessarily match industry terms that you're used to. So again, and Trent's around, he's not on the call today, I believe. But questions, things like that. Trent Yeager out at FIA is always a great contact to speak to about exactly what it would mean.
I did speak to Hank Yasek during the week, and just as a note of interest, we're going to look into how you go about reneging on your medical marijuana card. So if you are a medical marijuana card holder, right, you shouldn't really be buying firearms federally. Obviously, we know all the ins and outs of that. We've talked about it for years, but Hank raised a great question. And Mike, as soon as we have some flow going again at ATF, I'd like to know what their position is. How do you go about handing it back in? Let's say you don't need the medical marijuana card anymore. Hank had an interest to know, if you had previously turned away a medical marijuana card user at the retail counter, and then they come back in and say, hey, I don't use marijuana anymore. I've handed it in. I have an affidavit from my doctor. You know, what are the steps to go through? And granted, it sounds like a little bit of a rabbit hole, but that was his question. So anybody who's interested in that, you should have an answer for that before. Well, I guess it depends on ATF, but I thought that was an interesting sort of view on things.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to hearing that. I know that that's a question for a lot of folks, you know, what to do with those folks and what happens when somebody gets denied and they come back in. Mr. Bouchard, did you have
I think
anything?
the problem in that case was the person displayed their medical marijuana card. And that was the main problem there with that issue. They displayed it to them and then was willing to have family members give affidavits, but that's not a bit, to me, that's ridiculous, family members. But so it comes down to what's the period of time that a person can come back and buy a firearm again. Is it 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever? It is a business decision. I agree with that too. What is your SOP state for that kind of a transaction? The person comes back and says, hey, I'm not a marijuana user anymore. It's been 6 months. Can I buy a gun? So that's part of the whole scenario. I agree with Chris. It's an interesting question, though.
I'll send that to ATF when we get back to work and see if we can get an answer.
Other than that, I think this is a short one today. Next time we speak, I'll probably have a socialist as the mayor in New York City. So I'll be trying to escape. But other than that, I think we are standing down until November 10th. If you have any questions or comments, you know how to reach us via the help desk. And
We got another question real quick.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Just a comment from a couple people. Let's see. Melanie Klein said she was told by her IOI that it is 1 year plus 1 day from the expiration of their card for the medical marijuana, I assume.
And remember, Melanie, if somebody ever says that to you, ask them, where in the regulations or law does it state that? So that way you'll have it in writing. Here's the regulation that states that. Here's the law that states that. So that way, if you have that, that is great. Share that with us.
Yeah. And Ned Christensen says, it's a huge value for me having you guys looking out for me. Thanks for all you do. Thanks, Ned.
Here she comes.
Oh, awesome. Well, we appreciate it, you guys. Chris, Bryan, you want to send us off?
Good. Hey, we love you too, Ned. And we love all of you. Right now, I'm just excited to get back to Florida. So we'll see everybody next month. We appreciate you.
Take care, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.